we were working like 12, 14-hour days, 6, 7 days a week. It was getting a little bit hectic. So we needed a system to integrate everything in. And
well, me and my wife battled through mountains and mountains of paperwork on a regular basis. I'd get home 6, 7 o'clock at night, and we'd be down there fighting with each other until midnight sometimes.
But yeah, before we were using paper, it was a nightmare. Papers get lost, papers get misplaced. It wasn't fun.
I love earlier in the interview you were talking about how it seems like so long ago. It seems like such a different way of, and that makes us happy, right? It makes us happy that you've gotten enough out of this system that when you think back about the way you used to do it, it sounds like there's no going back.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Yeah, we had boxes and boxes of paperwork orders that we had to store and save and try and find when something would go wrong. We needed a callback. There was a warranty, and you have to go in that box and try and, find the filing.
I'm just going to say, for example, we would be doing a job at 140 King Street for JP Contractors, okay? Right. I'd have one guy that would write down on his timesheet 140 King. I'd have one guy write down on his timesheet JP Contractors, King Street. I'd have another guy write down library project. So then my wife would take all the timesheets and she would photocopy them and cut them all up and paste them into like a folder for that job. Oh, I know. And then at the end of the job, I would take all that time and I'd put all the material with it and I would bill it out. And we'd be sitting in the office one night and she would look at me and go, "What's library job?" After I had billed it already. Well, on a $30,000 or $40,000 job, you can't go back and say, "Hey, I forgot, $2,000 worth of hours."
No.
Right? And then, that's kind of stuff happened a lot.
Yeah, and then we're not transposing everything that they've written out, and there's not the errors or, just the misinterpretation of what might have been intended to have been said in shorthand. Right. We just don't have to worry about that at all.
I don't know how many times my wife and I would sit there at our desk, and it was almost like we were cracking a Da Vinci Code trying to figure out what. She'd be like, "What does this say? Tell me what this." And I'd look at it for hours, and I sent them to the job, and I couldn't figure out what it said. For them to just be able to type it into their phone, if it autocorrects if they spell it wrong. So everything was so easy to figure out.
Well, first and foremost, we can not have to worry about losing the paper copies of work orders, which
I've heard that before.
Yeah, which is a big thing,
Yeah, the cloud base is I would never go back to away from that. Being able to access it anywhere off an iPad or off your phone if you have to is just game changer for us.
I would kind of do all my scheduling on paper, and you'd be taking notes down. So you'd have, a pile of notes over here, then a pile of notes over there, or notes in the truck, and things would kind of just get lost.
Yeah, so ServiceBox was like a huge lifesaver.
So if I'm working on a job site, I can just, continue to work, go over to my laptop, open it up, just schedule a job and dispatch the guys from there.
But once we got it up and running, and like now, phenomenal.
Yeah, just drag and drop.
Yep. And if you don't like it or somebody reschedules, you just drag it to the next day.
Yeah.
A routine clean and service, for example, where they have a checklist to follow and what they need to document for it. It's all pre-populated. So they just go in and they actually fill in the information that's required. On the old paper version, we didn't have that control. We couldn't require a field.
Be able to move that from, like a quote to a work order, have the guys attach their time right to an invoice. It just, it's unbelievable how much time it saves. And
I'm going to clarify for anybody who might be watching this. When you say move from work order to invoice, you're talking about you literally push a button and the work order becomes an invoice.
Yeah, absolutely.
The whole process can happen all in one step. Where before with the paperwork order, it was very disjointed.
Right.
And so, so that's huge.
Well, there's 100 scenarios like that where I said to my wife, I'm like, we are going to pay for those losses by signing on to ServiceBox, because I can invoice that stuff right away from my phone on site. I do the job. I write down all the material, I punch in all the material right away, and I can invoice it right on site before I even come home, while it's all fresh in your head. And the money that it saved us just in those aspects alone is it's the difference between surviving as a small business and not.
The busier we get, the more we love it.